What's going on, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Wayne Presents, sponsored by Promarketize. Don't just advertise, Promarketize. As always, I'm your host, Wayne, and I am here today with Rasha. What's going on, Rasha?
Nothing much. Nothing much. I'm happy to be here. I've been looking forward to this for a couple of weeks now.
Well, it is a pleasure to have you. I'm very grateful we were able to get it worked out schedule-wise. I don't know if you want to talk about this tonight. She allowed Rasha allowed me to use the abbreviation for her name, but she has a very beautiful name.
Hmm.
Do you feel really good about your name and the meaning of your name, putting it out there like that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So her name, if I'm not mistaken, is Rashidat.
Rashidat. Sh.
Rashidat. Huh?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And it means
Rightly guided.
rightly guided. Beautiful name. That's a Muslim name. It's a beautiful name. I love it.
But I'm
But
not Muslim.
yeah, and she's not Muslim. Just put that
Not
out there.
not that nothing's wrong with it. I'm just not
Not at
Muslim.
all. But you're gonna tell what you're not a Muslim. It just is what it is. If you're not a Muslim, you're not a
Yeah.
Muslim. We have respect for the Islamic community. Um, Rasha, how long have you been single?
Ugh. Ooh, since 2015.
Okay. So about like me, you've been hibernating from the this wildness out here to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, not necessarily. I haven't been doing it directly. I've just been focusing on, building my career and all that other stuff. And, you know, it kind of fell on the wayside. So, yeah. Now I'm looking.
It became less of a priority. So since you've begun to kind of put yourself back out there, how what have you noticed about the dating scene that is different, unexpected, um, than what you were previously accustomed to?
Oh, it's totally weird. I mean, it's it's the worst. I mean, I'm actually going to put myself back into hibernation, possibly. But I feel like people treat dating like McDonald's. I mean, or changing clothes or whatever. Um, have it your way. If it's not your way, go to the next person that might give you, what you want. Kind of almost kind of like people are narcissists, and I just wish people would date like it used to be back in the day. Yeah, yeah. I find that a lot of men expect um, sexual relations. I mean, it's like an expectation, you know? And, I tell people that, yeah, I want to actually develop a friendship. Now, that
Right.
doesn't necessarily mean that I don't mind flirting and all that other stuff, but friendship is very important because a relationship that's built on sex, well, once, you get tired of it, or what have you, what do you have left? Nothing.
So it's been difficult for you to find or for you to come across guys who want to prioritize a real relationship, or a fundamental, try to develop a fundamental like organic friendship. They're just trying to jump straight into the bed.
Yes, exactly. And that's just not me.
I'm gonna play
I'm an
devil's
ambivert.
advocate.
I'm not excuse me, I'm a uh what do they call it? Like saposexual, I you attract me by your brain,
Right.
by the emotional attachment, I get more attached to you. So
I don't know if that word became popular like within the last probably like 5 years ago, and it was sickening. Like you were going dating apps, and that's all you would say. I'm gonna say sapiosexual. I'm gonna say sapiosexual. Like, okay.
well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't
You,
know
you,
because
you
I
learned, you
wasn't
learned
on
a
there
new
then.
you learned a new word. We get it. You want to use your new word. It makes you sound sophisticated. I get it. But
Yeah,
nowadays
okay.
people don't talk about it nearly as much. But like 5 years ago, it was all over the place. Nowadays you don't really hear it as much. So it's
Yeah.
you're actually one of the first people that I've interviewed that's actually and I know we a lot of us feel that way, but you're one of the few that has actually stated it. Um,
Yeah.
what do you think Is it just men being men? Is it the culture? Is it society? Is it, what do you think is the reason behind guys just like trying to get naked on the first date?
Well, I mean, I think, like I said earlier, is that, it's kind of like a have it your way society now, where, if you don't have, or a guy doesn't have immediate access to a woman, then, they just swipe to the left. Because
Right.
there's a whole bunch of women out there, especially, the population of women is a lot more than men right now. So, I mean, in a sense, the ball is kind of in the male court.
Say, repeat, I'm sorry, repeat that last part.
In a sense, the ball is kind of sort of in the male court because there's so many women out there. So, I mean, yeah.
The funny thing, I don't know if it's worse than even than that. It's been stated there are a lot of guys now who are basically coming to the realization, or at least the belief, that you have a very large majority of eligible women who are all kind of after the same guys, right? They're all
Yeah,
going after a very small minority
yeah.
of the men. And I guess it's probably always been that way, as long as we've been around, and I don't know why it should be surprising now.
Hmm.
Um, you had, the most attractive young ladies, even back in school. You could, put it on, they're going to date the athlete, they're going to date, the bully, or the guy with the more juvenile mentality. They're going to date the, very maybe popular guy. It was women do what they do, and there's a reason why they do what they do. And average guys, more and more, I think, average guys tend to get overlooked, right?
Well, I definitely not looking for the athlete or the bully or anything like that. I never have chased those kind of guys. Um, because I feel like they're so superficial. I usually, try and get the dorky guys because they have a lot more personality. They've actually worked on self-development and so forth and so forth, So I've never chased, even as a high schooler, never chased um, the popular. I mean, I wasn't even popular. So, yeah.
What type of guys do you find that you attract? Is there a type of guy that is more than likely the guy that is going to, like, hey, how you doing? That's going to reach out on the dating apps. It's going to approach you in public. Is there like a theme behind it, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. I get a little of everything. I get, matter of fact, I was hit on like by a 22-year-old yesterday at the gas station. And he's a construction worker. Um, but on the apps, yeah, I do get a lot of professional men, which what I am looking for. Um, but they still play the same games. Um, so I would say it's about half and half.
Let's talk a little bit. Let's get to know you a little bit better. I neglected to discuss it in the open, but you
Yeah,
are 48 years old. You're from Albany, Georgia, or you're in Albany, Georgia, right?
I'm in. I'm in. I'm originally from Chicago.
Okay. Chicago. I've heard a lot of good things about Chicago. I've never visited.
Hmm.
What's it
Got
like?
you.
What's it like? Like, summarize. We know it's violent. What is it
I wouldn't
besides
call it
that?
violent because
Huh?
I've never experienced violence in
Okay.
Chicago, or maybe I'm on the right side at the right time. I
All
don't know.
right. Fair enough.
I hear it. I hear it on the news and everything like
Right.
that, but I've never actually experienced that. Um, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. There's always something to do. I mean, you don't necessarily have to plan to do anything. Just walk out the door and you can find things. Where is in Albany, well, I have to drive all the way to Atlanta or Tallahassee to do something because there's nothing here.
So do you like the change? Do you like where you are now, or if or not so much, or you're still getting
It's half
adjusted?
and half. It's half and half. I don't plan to stay here. I definitely
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
Um, I kind of got trapped here from a former employer. They wanted me to work at the client site, and I was living in Virginia at the time, so I had to move to Albany. Um, and I no longer work for that employer, but at the same time, I do have a child that was going into high school, so that's why I was trapped.
Okay. So were you married previously, or
Yes, I was married for about 5 years, and we got a divorce back in 2012.
okay? And how old are your kids? Is that the only one, the one that's going to high school, or the one that's in high school? Is that the only one, or you have others?
So yeah, she's 17 years old and she will be going to college in the fall. And
Awesome.
she's actually the one that kind of encouraged me to start dating and so forth. She saw her father was in a relationship, and just seeing that dynamic and knowing that when she leaves, I'm gonna be alone, and she just doesn't want that. So that kind of started this whole dating thing for me.
Okay. So shout out to her. Kudos to the young lady, and congratulations on going to college.
Thank
Where's she going? You want to put it out there, or
Nah,
okay?
nah.
Well, hopefully it's a HBCU, but regardless of whether it is or isn't, we love when the kids go to college. Does she know what she wants to major in?
She wants to do environmental science.
Okay, cool. That's different.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you got divorced, you spent some time, got focused on yourself, your career, you made a move, and now you're
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm in a situation, I'm healthy, I'm well, I'm whole, and I'm prepared to be found and be discovered, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
What type of, when you're not being a mom, when you're not, in career mode, what activities do you engage in to make you happy? What do you do in your leisure time to spend your time?
Well, so just festivals. Um, I like going to museums. I like, going to speakeasies, just conversing with people, or my date, whatever. I recently went to a comedy show not too long ago, which was pretty terrible. Hopefully they're not all like that everywhere, but it was pretty terrible. But I do like to laugh. Um, yeah, just a little bit of everything. I like to travel as well.
Do you have like a bucket list destination?
Mm, Ghana, but that's on everybody's bucket list, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I was told
Um,
if I was to visit Africa, it should be Ghana, definitely.
yeah, so Ghana definitely. Japan,
That would be
I've
dope.
already, I'm sorry?
That would be dope.
Yeah, I've already gone to Dubai a couple of times. Man, those are right now, I think, some of the things that are immediately on my bucket list. So
Did we discuss what type of field are you in? What do you do?
I'm a CPA.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's different.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. In my mind, you think differently in order to do something like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not for everyone.
yeah. One thing that I definitely find is that I do think a lot differently. Like, and it's confusing because whenever I speak to her father or just anybody else, how different we think, and it's just like, how can they not see things the way I see things? So yeah, I think, yeah, we do think differently.
I feel like people who people who work in finance or who are in your field, people who work with numbers
Mm.
exclusively or primarily have a completely different mindset, I think, than even science or, especially when you get further out. I think we think more in like philosophical terms, but, you know, typical people, more normal people, we think it is more philosophical terms, but you guys are more, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like numbers,
Yeah, matter of fact.
matter of fact, pragmatic, maybe.
Yes,
Yeah.
very,
You have to be, I would imagine, very disciplined, detail oriented.
very, very.
Does that take away from, is that your personality outside of what you do for work? Or do you
No,
get
no.
away from your gig and you become somebody completely different? You have a whole like another persona.
I mean, I am the goofiest person you will ever meet, okay? Some of the shenanigans that goes on in my household, I mean, we have fun here, okay? I love to laugh. I mean, I think that's definitely one of the traits that whoever I date must have, to be able to make me laugh and, just enjoy life, for heaven's sakes.
I would
Things
imagine.
don't have to be serious.
So besides, you like festivals, you want to travel, are you into fitness, health and wellness? You like movies, music?
All the above. As far as like fitness and wellness, I used before I was before I was a mother. Oh, I was just always in the gym. I mean, I would spend like 4 hours there. Okay, it was just my happy place. And even parts of, me after my divorce, I was always working out and actually injured myself. I had to get my tendon repaired because I was just running too much. Um, and then, of course, my exercise pace kind of slowed down. So I'm getting back into exercising and so forth. And like I said, it's my happy place. It's meditative for me.
Exercise is the best, cheapest, and most effective more form, in my opinion, of stress
Yeah.
management. It is relaxing. You get the what is it, dopamine or is it serotonin? You get
Hmm.
like the endorphins get going, and there's a chemical in your brain that makes you basically feel good. And I can't
Yeah.
recall right in this moment whether it's serotonin or what was the other one I said?
Dopamine.
Dopamine, yeah. But you get basically you get a bit of a high. Like it makes you feel good. It makes you feel better. So
Hence why I injured myself.
because it was feeling good and you didn't want to
It
stop going a
was.
little
It was
too hard.
awesome.
Right.
Hmm.
Anybody out there that, especially, and I know depression is tough because you can be too depressed to get up and want to do anything. If you can get up, get some clothes on and go for a walk, you have conquered that day, especially if you're battling severe depression. If you're just kind of down to go through a difficult time, if you can get to the gym, you get you a little gym membership, and they're not all expensive. Or you can go for a walk, or you can just pull up a video on YouTube or something and go with the video. There's
Yeah,
something that you can do. You don't have to sit there and suffer through depression. There are opportunities for you to get out there and feel better and better yourself at the same time. Okay.
exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about what you would be open to. That special guy. We mentioned it. A little earlier on, but if you were to create, if you had the opportunity to create, this ideal guy that you would be open to, um, and you said you used to date kind of the more dorky guys or whatever. What type of guy, character and personality wise, would you be open to getting to know?
Personality wise, again, he needs to be funny. He needs to have a dream, and be actively chasing that dream. Whether it's um you want to be an engineer. Well, of course, at this point in time, he probably should be an engineer. I mean, pushing 50 or whatever. You probably should be an engineer at this time. But I mean, just be ambitious.
Not a rapper. What if he wants to be a rapper?
No, no rapper, no rapper, not at all. Though I can do partying and going to a club and everything like that. No way in hell, if that's okay for me saying,
Absolutely.
no way in hell do I want to be on the night scene like 24/7. That's more like sparsely going to a club or something like that. Um, he needs to be open-minded. To some degree, and just be willing to try things. Funny. He needs to be somewhat active. No, I'm not looking for, this muscle-bound guy or anything like that. I mean, but he needs to take care of himself. I think you mentioned earlier that, I don't necessarily look my age. Well, I'm kind of looking for the same thing, somebody that cares about himself, but not a narcissist.
Agreed. Absolutely. So, from what you've seen so far, speaking on dating in general, do you fit? So, we talked about a little bit about what the guys are like and what those experiences are like. What about
Mm,
from the perspective of the men? What do you think is going on with the women out here? Are they like, oh, all the women are perfect and they're not doing
no,
anything wrong at all? And
no.
what
I
do you
think I think that there is toxicity on both sides. I really do. I do think that women are coming into the whole dating scene with a chip on their shoulder, just like men, though. And I'm not going to say that one gender is wrong. It is more toxic than the other. Um, but there's a lot of toxicity, a lot of hurt going on, and what happens is that these hurt people just hurt other hurt what people, excuse me, even more, and of course they get even deeper and deeper into this hole. I mean, it's just terrible. I don't think I'll ever actually find a normal man out there, and if he does, well, he probably has been through therapy. you know thank God.
have you done therapy before?
Oh, yes, I have. I have. So I did a stint in the military. My whole divorce was just a toxic experience in itself. And it it really damaged me. And as a result, while I was in the military, I was, visiting a therapist like clockwork. So yeah, no, I've totally been in therapy. And even after being out of the military, I I did some therapy as well.
Was he a narcissist?
Yes, but of course, of course,
Shut
I think
up.
I yeah, and to say that um to say that a person can be truly healed from a narcissist, no, I don't think anybody can be truly healed from that. But I think, with therapy and everything like that, people become aware of their responses or their feelings, and try and, move past that kind of sort of, yeah.
I was dealing with a I did an interview with a Dr. Melissa Rosenberg, and it'll be
Mm,
on my channel, and you should check it out. And not saying that you could, but anybody listening, if especially if she's um, a trauma coach, people
mm,
women who have gone through trauma, women who have dealt with narcissists. She helps you. She's a trauma recovery expert. So her name is
mm,
Dr. Melissa Rosenberg. Again, she's on my channel, and she's been through some of those traumatic experiences herself. having married a narcissist. I've actually interviewed a couple of women who have been through that. I've known several who have gone through that. Sounds like a pretty horrible experience. I don't know what you've experienced in dealing with your ex-husband. Well, we're not here to bash him, but
No.
I've heard some remarkable stories from women who have dealt with narcissistic men.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the healing is ongoing. Um,
Exactly.
who do you think it's up to bridge the gap, or what do you think we need to do to try and bridge the gap because of the divide that we seem to be experiencing between men and women? I feel like we're at a bit of a stalemate. Men and
Yeah.
women don't respect
Definitely.
one another. We don't trust each
Mhm.
other. We
Exactly.
don't value each other, and
Exactly.
we don't understand each other, and it's kind of a cycle. What do you think are the steps that we need to take to get back on the right side of things when it comes to the battle of the sexes, so to speak?
First and foremost, we all need to get off of social media because everybody on there is talking crazy. You know, I mean, it's like women against men and all this other stuff, and it's just elevating the problem. Not to say, okay, everybody should watch your show, of course.
Well, thank you.
But like, Instagram, you have all these toxic people, all these hurt people talking from their pain. And they're not even psychologists or, psych you know, somebody in the medical field. So they shouldn't speak on these things.
Right.
People should actually, I feel people should actually, go out and date like normal people. Um, and get to know people, from a mental and emotional, perspective instead of trying to get trying to I don't know. Trying to I'm sorry, I'm getting notifications on my phone and
Fine.
I'm trying to ignore that.
We're good. I got one early. We're good.
Yeah, my Instacart is notifying me. Um, we just need to get to know each other better, you know, and stop trying to listen to these crazy people on the internet.
I 100% agree. We
Yeah,
listen to the most toxic among us because usually the most toxic, speaks the loudest. Um, there's something
yeah,
that you learn as a man coming up, and the saying goes basically something along the lines of the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. Like
yeah,
the dude making the most noise doing this,
yeah.
he's
Like
not really about that, huh?
just like Kendrick Lamar said in one of his raps.
Did it? Okay. Yeah. So I believe me, it didn't come from Kendrick. This saying has been
I
around
know.
for okay. Yeah. If they're loud and boisterous, a lot of times it's a front for it's an insecurity. So they're not really about that. Like the one that you have to concern yourself with is the one that's standing back not saying anything. Because he is
Right.
about that life and he will do something to you. So we understand that coming up as men. And when you are, in this space of social media, you have the loudest people are like a lot of times the ones who are the most hurt, the most broken, the most wounded, the most toxic, because they don't want to sit down somewhere, take time to heal. Instead, they want to come out and bash the
Yeah,
opposite sex for what they themselves allowed themselves to go through. With
yeah,
respect, we've all been through things. With respect to you, I've been through some stuff. Men go
exactly.
through men go through stuff too. But at some point, we have to take accountability. Like, you know what? Probably shouldn't have dated that chick, and there were signs I
Mhm.
shouldn't have. Probably shouldn't have married that chick. I probably shouldn't have gone there with that guy. I probably shouldn't have done. I definitely did that too long. I shouldn't. There are signs. There are hints. Anyone I've ever asked that question, where there's signs, there's
Oh, heck.
always yeah, I should have known.
Oh, heck yeah. Matter of fact, my parents begged me not to get involved with my ex-husband, and I did anyway.
How long did it take before his true colors began to show?
As soon as I got pregnant, he started, I guess because he felt, oh, she's trapped, she's not going anywhere, that, he could finally let his hair down.
But they could see it. They could see something that you weren't able to see.
Exactly.
Had
I
you
mean,
been
he was love bombing until I got pregnant.
had you been wounded before him? I find that a lot of narcissists, they tend to seek out women that are very um there's trauma. There's trauma.
No,
Had you not been
all all of my relationships have always ended in friendships. I'm still friends with a lot of my exes. I mean, though I'm not sitting on the phone, you know, constantly with them. I mean, I'm always, if ever I need something, like for instance, one of my exes is an architect but he works in an engineering field, and I reached out to him not too long ago because I have a few family members that are engineers and was looking for a job, all because one person, all because let's say like your ex-boyfriend, whatever, is not does not belong in this bucket doesn't mean that he doesn't belong in another bucket. So yeah. No, I'm friends with all of my exes. We all have a great relationship. It just ended cordially. Um, the architect, I was ready for marriage, and he wanted to focus on his career. That's why that one didn't work out. But everybody thought that that was going to be like my husband. So
is that opportunity passed? Is that a done deal at this point between the
that's a
two?
done deal. It's a done deal. He's married. Soon
Uh,
as he got out of graduate school, he
uh,
married someone.
okay.
Just like just like he was telling me I want to do grad school before I even think about that. And I wasn't hearing it because I finished my MBA program, and I felt like, okay, well, it's time for us to make moves. We were actually dating for 4.5 years. But, he wanted to then get his MBA or, master's or whatever. And I just wasn't having that. I was not patient.
Well, I respect it, but I would say, and I understand both sides, but I would say to the men, if you are not ready for what they're ready for, if you're not ready to settle down to get married, if you want to focus on your career, then focus on your career and let them
Yeah.
do that. Now, if he told you that from the beginning and he was like, we can kick it, we can be cool, we can be friends, but I'm not going to get into anything overly substantial until I, do what I, because we have to, as men, we can prioritize, pardon me, one thing at a time. And
Mhm.
society has taught men, for whatever reason, that we're supposed to pursue women. And that is BS. That is
Mm.
BS. That is not God ordained. It's not practical. It's not wise. You cannot, we men were not put on earth to pursue women. We pursue purpose, we pursue career, we
Mm.
pursue Christ and the
Exactly.
kingdom. That's it,
Yes.
that's all.
Yes.
Now, yeah, as you're pursuing these other things, Christ, kingdom, purpose, career, you're pursuing these things. If you happen to meet a woman along the way and she wants to walk with you and y'all are headed in the same direction and your goals and purpose align, y'all want to walk together, then cool. But as a
Yeah.
man, if you're not ready to settle down, women are built to settle down. So let her know that from the very jump, and maybe opt out and get back with her, circle back around to see what it's looking like once you finish pursuing what it is you intend to pursue. Um, so what's the end goal? Where do we go from here? We get off social media and then
Mhm.
we begin to communicate. And what's the ultimate? What's the end goal ideally when it
I
comes
mean, for me or just for
in general?
everyone? Do I think everybody should do it in general?
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. Which one?
We get off social media in general, people in general.
Okay.
We get
Yeah,
off
no,
social
get
media,
off
we
social
start
media
talking
in
to each other.
general. Um, you know, uh, Pursue, whatever activity that you like and just meet people the natural way.
Right.
If you like jet skiing, or if you like running or so forth, join a running club and just meet people that way, just normal.
Make it organic.
Yes.
We're trying
Yeah,
to force things, you think?
I do. I do.
What would you want to say to young ladies out there who are interested in meeting their person from a woman? to the women out there that might be listening who feel like the dating pool, oh, the dating pool is pee in the dating pool and this, that, men, da, da, da. What would you want to say to these ladies to give them wisdom, and knowledge, hope, encouragement? What would you say?
Go out there and enjoy your life. And in the process, you will find people in your space, in your club or what have you, that with common interests become friends. And if it becomes something more, then it becomes something more, but don't seek a relationship. I think, that's what I'm definitely should have started with from the beginning. I started this whole dating thing roughly the beginning of the year. And, I feel like that should have been the method that I used, that, okay, I like running. Well, meet Billy running, and, and learn about Billy.
As you're running.
Exactly.
So find activities, things that you enjoy. And if you meet someone there, you already know that's at least one thing you have in common, maybe a few things that you have in common that led you to that activity, and get to know them through that.
Yeah, and it's like, the thing about meeting somebody in a space that you're already in, well, people tend to have similar mindsets. Like, I'm not going to find, Michael the drug dealer, in a running club. I'm probably going to find that Michael has a lot more in common. I mean, not Michael, excuse me, Billy, that is in the running club, have a lot more in common with me than anyone else.
Unless you find out Billy's out there slinging Adderall at the running club, or steroids.
Yeah, well, that's
To
another
the
thing. Yeah.
fellas, what would you want to say to the fellas before I get you out of here? What would you want your message to be to the to the single guys out here that are interested in or call themselves being interested in a relationship?
Stop rushing. This isn't Mickey D's, where, you get instant food and so forth. Actually take some time to know a person mentally and emotionally. And from there, you'll understand whether or not, okay, is this woman, of the mindset that I'm ready for? Don't rush into sexual relationships, because once you start having sex, the nature of the relationship kind of changes, for whatever reason. The mental, it seems like there's a wall that normally forms when you start having sex too early. I just, yeah, just everybody needs to focus on people's personalities versus, people's sexual appetites.
Guys, sex is important. We love it. I love it. She loves
Of
it. You love it.
course, yeah,
Sex is important. It's very important. We're not going to try to minimize the importance of sex. But a
yeah.
lot of people are having sex and don't even know the purpose of sex. It blows my mind. I posted that question one day on social media. What's the purpose of sex? And you wouldn't believe some of the responses I got. Sex is a bonding mechanism. That's what it is. Sex is a bonding mechanism. The
Mhm.
evidence of the bonding is the fact that it causes procreation.
Mhm.
Literally two people becoming one, right? God could have used any method that he chose. He could have made it so that a man could like spit in his hand and then rub it on his woman's hand, and they take that and sip it in a cup, and a day later a kid comes. He could have done it however he wanted to do it. But the method for us, it feels good. There's a connection, two people literally joining together, becoming one. It creates those endorphins again, those feel good chemicals in your brain. That's great when you're married. But
Mhm.
outside of that, it becomes problematic. No matter how
Mhm.
good it feels, Guys, it can get you in trouble if you're
Yes.
lust. You have no control over your loins, your hormones. You can be misled from your purpose. Ladies, y'all aren't built for it. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you are. If it's any kind of good at all, he's gonna get in your head. You're gonna be messed
Yeah.
up. Y'all are not built for that. Y'all are built to connect with that guy that you're making love to. So sit it on the back burner. Make the priority becoming friends, truly getting to know one another, men and women. Because ladies, we can't do it if y'all won't let us do it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's being taken by force, there's a lot of women out there that don't mind giving it up. They're opening up like it's McDonald's, like it's a drive-through. So guys, that
Yeah.
applies to men and women. Y'all have to be able to say no. You have to be willing to walk away. And no matter how sexy he might be, or how
Mhm.
charming, or how cute, or how tall, or how whatever, how good his game is, you got to be willing to sit that down and put sex on the back burner as well. Last words.
Um, just to chime in what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't wholeheartedly, I think sex is a little bit different. I think for at least for a woman's perspective, a woman that isn't, um, I hate to use this word, kind of like a pick me. Of course, that's a terrible term, but um, I think, for a woman, sex is a demonstration of how you feel about a man,
I agree.
and not necessarily a way to make you feel closer to a man. So then, if for whatever reason she is not willing to give it up to you, if, let's say, you're in a relationship or whatever, if she's not getting willing to give it up to you, there's something wrong with the relationship. Maybe you guys aren't communicating. She does not feel bonded to you, and do whatever you have to do to get back in that space, and you'll get sex. You know,
Are you talking about couples now at this point? You're talking about people who are already in a relationship?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. If for whatever reason she's not putting out, there's something wrong. She's not feeling bonded, and you need to create that space so she will feel bonded to you.
100% agree. Thank you. Thank you, Rasha. I really appreciate your time. As you all know, you can interact with Rasha through the comments. Guys and girls, if you have, anything that you want to say, anything that you want to add, feel free to do so. If you want to contact this young lady directly, then bwaynepresents@gmail.com. She said put out. I haven't heard that term in a while. That sounds like somebody great grandma talking about putting out. Thank you for your time, Rasha. It has been a pleasure.
This has been awesome. Keep on doing the good work.
Yes, ma'am. Will do. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.